myself took those questions and tried to condense them into generalized questions for the three candidates. They just drew numbers out of a hat, order 1, 2, 3. There'll be a rotation on who leads off. Each individual candidate will have 2 minutes to formulate an answer. Please hold your questions until after we get through the formal questions, and we'll take probably some questions from the audience at the end. So, gentlemen, are you ready to go? Are you turned on?
Do I have to use this microphone thing?
It's up to you.
All right, I'll try.
At the end of 2 minutes, I'm going to try.
That'll work. We can
Work for
do
you?
that.
Okay, first question. If you are elected sheriff, what are your goals for the next 4 years? What is your assessment of the current efficiency of the sheriff's department? And what changes would you make to improve it?
Okay. I drew number 1, everyone, so I get to go first. And thank you all so much for coming tonight. I know a lot of you, I see a lot of faces in the room that I've worked with and have known over the years, and I do appreciate the turnout tonight to listen to us all. What are my goals for the Sheriff's Office for the next 4 years? Pretty broad question to answer in 2 minutes, but I'll do my best. First of all, knowing my audience, I think it's important to first talk about the morale situation as it currently exists, and my goals, at least for improving that, or my plans for improving that. I think that as members of any organization, and especially the Flathead County Sheriff's Office, you all need to know that what the rules are, and you need to know that those rules will be uniformly applied to everyone. It shouldn't make any difference who you are, who you know, who your friends are, or what's happened in the past. Things need to be even, fair, and consistent. And I think if you know those things, that it's going to be a lot easier to come to work. People will be happier. Things will be on a much more even course. The second part of that question, Dave, I think was addressing.
What is your assessment of the current efficiency of the
Efficiency of the Sheriff's Office? I assume there'll be some more questions a little later that might get to this, but let me say that I currently don't feel, and with all due respect to Mike and the administrative staff that's here, that things are being done very efficiently. Any of you that have looked at my website know that I feel fairly strongly that there are too many administrative positions right now. I honestly don't feel that you need 2 lieutenants supervising 6 sergeants, supervised by a patrol commander, supervised by an undersheriff, supervised by a sheriff. That to me is not efficient. I think it's kind of clunky. So my answer to that is, no, I don't think it's extremely efficient right now. Those positions could be better utilized doing some new progressive programs. And the third part of that,
What changes would you do to improve it?
I'd fix that. Is my time up yet? Time's up probably, isn't it? Yeah. Hopefully I get to answer that more later.
Okay, one of the first things we have to do is address the morale problem. And I think the very first thing I would do is I would call an all-hands meeting, and we would get together as a group and reestablish this entire place as an office. Unity as one. I would want to sit on the same side of the table as you during bargaining committees. I don't want to be on the separate side of the table arguing whether you should have an extra hour of comp time for court or not. To me, I'd be representing all of you. I need to be on the same side of the table, and that's not just for patrol, that's also for detention and all the non-sworn. You know, I think we need to reestablish that there's progressive movement that needs to take place in our office to rebuild the morale, to get a positive workplace going again. And with that, we're obviously going to improve our quality of work and our quantity of work, which is more, and make our taxpayers a lot happier. You know, I don't think it's just one person that's going to establish all this, but it is certainly the sheriff's position to set the tone, and with the new administrative staff setting the tone, you can create that positive work atmosphere. And I think all of you have a tremendous amount of ideas, which of course you're bringing forth in your questions. And I think getting that and bringing that in, and again, making it our office, not just one person's office, using everyone's ideas to make this a better place to work. Second part of the was
what's your assessment of the current efficiency, and what changes would you make to improve it?
The current efficiency is obviously a problem, as stated with my website as well. I think that one, leading by example is first and foremost. You have to show everyone who you are, you have to show and expose yourself, and everyone has to know that you're standing up for everyone else. Everyone, not just one person, not just your best friend, not just a friend of yours or someone who has the same beliefs as you. That it's incredibly important. If there are certain things that you can do, one of the things, and I've stated on my website, is getting rid of all the SUVs and going with the oldest vehicles in the fleet for admin. I don't think admin needs to have a nice vehicle to drive to and from a desk, to be quite frank. Mike?
Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. The sworn in, the non-sworn, setting this up. Regarding goals for the sheriff's office, is this working? Okay. As I've said in the past, I'm very proud of this office, and it's all of you that have made it that way. We've come a long ways, and we've got a long ways to go. But I really feel that we can make the sheriff's office the best in the state. Regarding the efficiency, I know I've received a lot of criticism for my administrative staff. I do stand behind them. I think it's the right decision to make, and I think until you walk a mile in their shoes, I don't think you totally understand just exactly what they do. But I can tell you, just Monday and Tuesday, one of the patrol lieutenants was out on the street covering a short shift. They do a whole lot more than just sit around the corporals. I've been criticized for having too many corporals. I don't think there's any corporals here that would tell you that they did not only deserve it, but I look at that as personal growth, personal leadership and training that they get, and it gives us a good pool to pick from for future administrators and future leaders in the department. What's the third part of that, Dave?
What do you make to improve it?
Okay. When it comes to making changes in efficiency, I reevaluate things on a daily basis, all the time, as budget changes and different changes throughout the community and throughout the sheriff's office. We constantly have to keep changing and look at new things and new programs, and based on the budget and based on the needs of the citizens. I think as we go on, there's a lot of different things that we'll talk about that'll help explain some of that.
The folks that know me, I need no microphone. So, Commander Frame is retiring within a couple of years. Would that stay a non-sworn position, or would it be a sworn? And what qualifications would you be looking for? And after Kathy Frame just talking, she might be retiring earlier than that. So this question is important.
Originally, for all of our newer members here, that position has normally been held by a sworn officer. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Kathy's the first non-sworn officer that has held that position. To be honest with you, I'd probably return it to a sworn officer position, but it'd only be going to somebody that has some experience in the jail, because obviously that's the biggest problem that we have with officers. They have little experience with what goes on in the day-to-day makeup of going on in the jail. There's a lot of changes going on over there. There's a lot of budgetary issues, and if you have somebody that's been on the inside a little bit, you can help guide them, and we can solve the problems that are going on in the detention side as well.
We're confused already, guys, sorry. That question, I would leave that a non-sworn jail administrator. I personally don't feel that you need someone with arrest powers and a sworn officer to manage the detention center. Kathy was actually promoted or moved into that position when I was there. We did have, as Lance mentioned, a